Greetings of the day. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining this session. I'm Singh. I lead the robotics, drones, and intelligent machines business at Qualcomm. Today, we'll talk about how the next generation of robotics is driving automation in Industry 4.0 and the key components about that. So before we go into the topics of the presentation, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Qualcomm, but just giving a benefit of doubt, Qualcomm is a leading innovative company. We've been innovating with sustained innovation over 3+ years. We spend over $5+ billion in R&D year on year. Cumulatively, we have $64 billion in R&D put in making sure we have the leading edge technology, which results in over 130,000 leading patent applications and creating technology that's revolutionizing how the way world computes, communicates, and connects. So Qualcomm has digitized mobile communication, redefined computing, and now we are transforming industries. So Qualcomm has all the assets and is pioneering in technologies that is fueling this future, be it connectivity from anything from low power Bluetooth all the way to 5G and everything in between. We have the technology that we are building. And on processing, compute is important. We have a lot of processing power in our Snapdragon chipsets, including CPU, GPU, DSP, and all of it. And we'll be talking about a few of these in the presentation as well. So now coming to robotics, there's a division I lead. So Qualcomm is addressing different diverse robotic challenges. We are seeing more and more robots being integrated into our daily lives. And for the sake of the audience here, everybody is familiar about the smart manufacturing and the factories of the future, logistics and warehouses. All of these have tremendous amount of automation and robotics coming in future. We are addressing all those challenges. We have been doing this for over 5 years now, since I set up this business segment in Qualcomm. We've had numerous robotics products launched. We are deploying millions of robots, be it consumer, enterprise, industrial, factory robots. And the scale is limitless. We are putting floor scrubbers in factories to also putting our chips that's powering the Mars mission. The Ingenuity Mars helicopter is powered by Qualcomm as well. Today's topic, I would want to cover the technologies that are fueling tomorrow's robotics innovation. Those primarily are heterogeneous computing, distributed intelligence, AI, connectivity. So let's go briefly into each of these, starting with heterogeneous compute. So heterogeneous compute, we all know that compute is very, very important in automation and in robotics. When you talk about computing, anything comes in mind is a CPU or GPU, but the magic is, or specialization is key for automation and robotics. Assigning right tasks to the right engine is key. You want to use energy efficient engines for things like that need low power real-time applications. You need sequential control, you would use CPU. And when you need parallel data streams, you would use GPU. But all of this needs, like we mentioned, specialized block to that. Or we also have blocks that do dedicated neural processing engines that do AI with ultra fast inferencing. And one other anecdote we have is the computer vision. Traditionally, the computer vision was done on CPUs and GPUs, but we know that it is much more efficient to do that directly on a computer vision accelerator. In our Snapdragon processors, we have CVP or CV enabled ISPs that is offloading the GPU, CPU from these tasks. So that's the heterogeneous compute. It is the foundation of building the right automation and right robotics products. Now jumping into AI. So we've been, AI is transforming a lot of industries, including factories of the future. Today, AI has been associated with central cloud, but more and more what we are seeing is AI is on-device intelligence is gaining quick momentum. Today, or around 2018, we had about 10% attach on on-device computing or on-device AI. And now in 2025, you'll see at least close to 100% attach in all segments or in all kind of devices. And why is this very important? Of course, on-device intelligence is important for robotics and for other applications, but particularly for robotics, because a robot needs to perceive its surroundings, reason, and act very fast and in real time. You need a lot of this intelligence that needs to happen on the device. So for the sake of privacy, reliability, immediacy, efficiency, and personalization, you need on-device AI or on-device intelligence. However, this comes with a lot of trade-offs. There is an inherent challenge about the AI workloads being heavy, large and complicated models, complex concurrency requirements, real-time requirements. All of these are the key challenges. And for on-device AI, you need them to be on-device means devices like robots are battery operated. So you need thermal power efficiency, battery life is of a concern, and storage and memory bandwidth limitations as well come in play. So at Qualcomm, we are pioneering in power and thermal efficiency to enable this vision of on-device 100% attach of on-device intelligence. So we covered, of course, the heterogeneous compute and AI. Now stepping into the third technology that I want to talk about is 5G. And everybody here must have or already know that 5G is more than just mobile phones. 5G is fundamentally built for a lot of things, which includes mission critical services, massive Internet of Things, and of course, mobile broadband. So 2019 was when 5G happened, and 2020 was rollout, and 2021 is expansion. We are going to be seeing tremendous impact of 5G. There's over $12 trillion of economic output by 2030 that's going to happen with technologies like 5G. So specifically for industry applications, 5G has key elements that are built for making the industry 4.0 happen. Namely, some of them are ultra reliable, low latency. Everybody's, I think, here knows how critical round trip delays in machine to machine communication is. And 5G brings in that ultra low latency. But at the same time, not only latency, but reliability is very important. We are talking about mission critical activities. We are talking about manufacturing. So reliability is key to make sure yield, make sure manufacturing cycle times are maintained. So reliability is of utmost importance. And 5G comes with 99.999% reliability that fulfills the needs of Industry 4.0. And in addition to ultra reliable low latency, time sensitive networks, also there is a wide variety of spectrum deployments that 5G brings in. So 5G is a unifying wireless platform or connectivity fabric of the decade. It comes in with 100x more traffic capacity, 3x spectrum efficiency, experience and throughput, connectivity densities. All of these are significantly higher than the previous generation of the connectivity technology. Particularly, 5G comes with the spectrum deployment that can happen not only in diverse services like mission critical enhanced broadband and massive Internet of Things, but in diverse spectrums from low band, mid band, and high band. And also the deployment can happen in multiple facets, be it public networks, private networks, or time sliced, or combination of those can also occur in 5G. So that brings in a very powerful approach in which Industry 4.0 is going to leverage these key blocks. So now we're talking about 5G being the communication fabric of the decade. And so 5G was released in 2019, like we talked about. But then there is multiple releases happening in 5G that is going to happen over next few years. Right now, we are already at release 16, which brings in a lot of the Industry 4.0 requirements, like ultra reliable, low latency, time sensitive network. We talked about positioning. But there is a lot of work being done in the long-term expansion as well, where things like high precision positioning and others are coming into the release 17. And I'm sure there will be many more of these. So let's talk about a few of these, specifically around time-sensitive network. So 5G also, not only that it's a technology of future, but it also helps to maintain the continuity. So upgrading existing industrial networks with wireless 5G. So today, the machine-to-machine communication is done using Ethernet. So Ethernet over wireless is possible with 5G, and we will see some of these. So time-sensitive network is one of them, and we have a brief video to go over that. In this video, you'll see a conveyor belt or a manufacturing on a manufacturing floor where you have a product moving on the conveyor belt and being observed by 5G or cameras, being observed by cameras. And those are connected with 5G. And these cameras are communicating with the robot, the Delta robot, to pick up the product based on the binning. So in this demo, you will see with time-sensitive network on, you see the green and red pucks representative of different class or different bin of products. You will see when the time-sensitive network is on, the accuracy of this picking and binning is 100%. But when the time-sensitive network is off, you will see that some of there are a lot of misses as well. So that gives a brief overview of the impact of 5G time-specific network, where you will see that this tight communication between machines is very important for these kind of applications. So next one is the ultra reliable latency, and we'll see a quick demo of that as well. This is also in a factory floor. So now we are talking about wireless communication in factory floor. So we are talking about cutting the Ethernet cord and having everything done by wireless using 5G. But imagine this with previous technologies, would it be even possible? The short answer is no. The reason is 5G comes with this sub-6 millimeter wave applications or deployment, where you will have multiple TRPs talking to the device. You'll see redundancy is built in. When you see when there is something in front of the signal blocking the signal, there is still continuity with the other TRPs happening. So there is high reliability happens right there because of this ultra reliable low latency thing that we talked about. So next is precise positioning. Why precise positioning is important is for multiple reasons. When you have robots moving around, taking things from the bins and bringing them back, you need them to be able to do that accurately and with low latency as well. So 5G release 17 is coming with a precise centimeter level accuracy as one of its features as well. And we have a brief demo to go over that. In this demo, you'll see that there is an AGV or a AMR that is basically picking from the shelf a product or several products and taking it to the desired location. But to be able to do this traditionally, you would need a lot of compute and a lot of sensor processing, and with still not be able to achieve the accuracy you want to achieve. But with 5G, now that because we talked about the different TRPs where you are able to locate or precisely point out where the 5G device is. So there's multiple directional antennas, 4x4 MIMOs, and all of these technologies like millimeter wave are making this possible. So in this demo, you're going to be seeing a 5G robot, but on the right side, you're seeing that we are doing this experiment in our labs with one of the 5G devices. And you can see that there is a ground truth of the position, and then there is a 5G location, and it's pretty darn close, both in horizontal and vertical accuracy. And you will also see this in the 3D plane, where you see accuracy across the board. So that is one of the big anecdotes that 5G is bringing in the release 17 as well. So we at Qualcomm have been pioneering, researching 5G for a long time. We've been first to the market with it. Not only that we are first to the market, we are already on our third generation of 5G. We released the X50, the X55, and now recently the X60 that supports millimeter wave, sub-6 aggregation. It's in cutting 5 nanometer process, and it supports things like release 16 and release 17 as well. So we are forefront of 5G innovation, and we are taking it to the next level with these offerings that we have. So we talked about AI and talked about 5G. And these two technologies are independently changing the landscape, enabling a lot of use cases. But when these two technologies come together, the real magic happens. You will see a lot of use cases, especially in Industry 4.0, where private networks are needed, but at the same time, where cloud is not important. The concept of intelligent wireless edge becomes very, very important. It is actually very critical for this industrial IoT expansion. What this is we're talking about 5G being the data pipe between on-device intelligence and the edge. And whenever there is a possibility, it also is a data pipe to the cloud. So with this distributed intelligence is where we see a lot of things, a lot of use cases that are going to be enabled. So especially in the intelligent edge is going to drive efficiencies in an innovation in a 5G private network and edge. You will see that there is firewall that is shutting off the cloud, but at the same time, on the premise, you have devices that are enabled, 5G enabled devices that are doing their things, aggregating a lot of data, but this data is being ingested into the private edge, which is a big compute blob by itself. So this is very important concept for the use cases of Industry 4.0, where you will see different kind of machines on 5G and on private networks. And this is not only limited to manufacturing or Industry 4.0, this is going to be also applicable to warehouses and smart warehouses. So the concept of factories of the future or lights out manufacturing, lights out fulfillment centers is realized by this private networks, 5G, AI, and the distributed intelligence and intelligent edge. And with all of this in mind, for robotics at Qualcomm, we early this year, we launched the world's first 5G and AI-enabled robotics platform. It's the Qualcomm Robotics RB5 platform. You may already have seen a lot of this, but this RB5 platform is a purpose-built robotics development kit. So what it does is brings all the technologies together that we spoke about, the heterogeneous compute, the AI, the 5G, and all the critical blocks. And we don't stop there. Now we are integrating all the sensor technologies that are needed. We have a vision mezzanine that brings in multiple camera concurrency, which brings in the depth cameras, the time of flight cameras, and main cameras or the 8K cameras as well. And then we have the sensor mezzanines for all kind of sensors that are needed, be it a pressure sensor, temperature sensor, ultrasound sensors. These are all integrated into the platform on a sensor mezzanine. And for industrial application, we have an industrial mezzanine that brings in all the critical things like EtherCAT, Ethernet, Profinet. And then, of course, we have the 5G communication mezzanine with supporting both sub-6 and millimeter wave. So Ethernet over wireless, release 16, release 17 is also supported. And the other part, which is critical as well, is the motor control, and we have that included. And this is a very neat Lego fashioned platform, and you can choose to commercialize using the chip on board design, SOM, or the package, and or use the entire development kit for proof of concept applications. So at Qualcomm, we are in forefront of innovation. Like I mentioned, we have a dedicated team and a division focused on robotics and industrial automation and smart machines. Not only that, we have a great platform or a roadmap. We have a roadmap of chipset that addresses very low-end compute requirements to a very high-end compute requirements. So we have a chipset offering of good, better, best. And then we have, on top of it, no hardware is complete with the software. So we have the software tools, the SDKs, the OpenCV, the machine learning SDKs, machine vision SDKs to go along with the hardware. So the chipset software put together, then we have the hardware platforms such as the RB5. And this is our 4th or 5th generation robotics platform. And then to round it off, we have a great ecosystem and support model. We have scaling partners, manufacturing partners, and technology partners that can help support the community and the lead customers as well. So we are building better robots, better drones, intelligent machines of the future to enable the vision of Industry 4.0. So Qualcomm has done a lot of work in the foundational R&D. We have the Qualcomm AI research. Qualcomm is ahead in the 5G and AI technology and has the leadership. We have the advanced silicon on the cutting edge technology node and a vast ecosystem investment as well. So with all of this, Qualcomm is uniquely positioned to power the future generation of connected devices and machines that are going to power the Industry 4.0 and factories of the future. So with that, I want to thank you all for attending this session. Please visit our exhibitor page for further information or to contact Qualcomm. Thank you again.